Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Universal Transcendent. My talent is multiplied by 1,000 times. Chapter 1, 1000-fold Talent Amplification System. Transcendent Talent. Precise Strike. Accurate plus 5%. Quality. Grade E. Description. Your attacks will hit enemies more accurately and increase minor damage. With 5% accuracy, there is no big difference between the talent, with and without it. It's not trash, but it's better than trash. Zhou Yu covered his face and sighed. This is the 32nd time that Zhou Yu has seen the talent own. And every time he looked at it, Zhou Yu felt horrible. Own, this talent, is simply the scene of a large car accident. After traveling to this world, this body is itself an orphan. You can't fight your parents, you can only rely on yourself. Originally, I expected to secretly practice penance in ordinary times, and when I awakened, I would shock everyone. Explode an A level, or even an S level, anyway, I am also a time traveler. It's a good time. An ordinary E level talent, directly on the forehead. With this talent, I'm afraid I won't be able to arrange any good jobs at all. Probably some coolie jobs. Although it is tiring, it is better to be safe. If you entered the combat department, or even the frontier department. Hiss. Proper cannon fodder. Zhou Yu, with a divergent mind, thought about his past for more than a year. About a year ago, Zhou Yu traveled to this weird transcendent world. This is a world with transcendent sequence power, distortion pollution, evil spirits, and evil gods. The wilderness is a paradise for transcendent creatures, strange creatures, and many sources of distortion and pollution. Human beings are gathered in Steam City states one by one. Life is a resident of Steam City. Everyone will have a chance to awaken talent at the age of 18. Start with F, E, D, C, B, A, and then A. Then there is the very, very rare S class. As for higher SS, and SSS, that only exists in legends. It is said that in human history, the last SSS class appeared 20 years ago. F-level talent is the bottom one. Awakening such a talent basically means that there is a high probability that you will not have a transcendent talent, and you will miss the transcendent sequence for the rest of your life. This kind of talented talent is relatively rare. There are only 1 or 2 out of 100. E-level talent is the level of the public. 70%, 80% of human beings will be at this level. Zhou Yu currently belongs to this level. D-level talent can be said to be an excellent talent, and the probability of awakening is about 12% to 15%. C-level talent is even rarer, with less than 4%. B-level talent, less than 1%. A-level talent is even rarer. The Kern Steam Federation has about 5,000 fresh graduates every year. And among so many people, there are only 1 or 2 every year, and sometimes there are none. The transcendent world values transcendent talent very much. The higher the talent, the brighter the future will be. Even if there is an AA level talent, or even an S level talent. The Korn Steam City State will also personally dispatch steam airships to send them to the transcendent holy city for more in-depth training, so as to master a higher sequence of transcendent power. That future is naturally enviable. It's a pity that in Zhou Yu's current class, there is no such amazing talent. The most powerful is an A-level. It is said that at the scene of the awakening, this A-level talent student was immediately protected after being confirmed to have awakened the A-level talent. If it is not protected, those believers of evil gods will try their best to kill this kind of talented students. Using the awakened talent, choose the sequence that suits your own transcendent. Master the power of the transcendent sequence, resist the invasion of evil gods, evil spirits, transcendent creatures, etc., and protect your own homeland. This is the duty and responsibility of everyone in this world and city-state. If it is AC level talent or AB level talent, they are still eligible to choose their own jobs. D level talent does not have this qualification, and needs to obey the organization's arrangement. And Zhou Yu, who is an E-level talent 1 level lower than D-level talent. Let alone pick a job. I'm afraid that to obtain a transcendent sequence occupation, you need to go 1 row behind. We have to wait for those talented guys to finish their selection, and then it's time for ordinary E-level people like Zhou Yu to choose. It's okay to arrange a job, I hope the city-state can also arrange a wife for me. Zhou Yu complained silently. Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the door. Zhou Yu opened the door. What catches the eye is the courier boy in gray overalls with short hair. Student Zhou Yu, right. This is your courier, please sign for it. Speaking of which, the courier brother handed over a document. Courier. Sign for completed. Zhou Yu took the courier to own small desk and sat down. Zhou Yu knew without guessing that this was a work notification letter. Tomorrow, or even the day after tomorrow, I need to go to work officially. Open the express and take out the work notification letter. Zhou Yu examined it seriously, his brows almost knit together. Call. After a long time, Zhou Yu let out a long breath. The gatekeeper of the lighthouse, I knew it. The body of the traverser is the life of the cannon fodder. In Kornstein City State, the three most dangerous jobs, respectively: lighthouse keeper, watchman of the walls, and the pioneers of the ruins. Open black lens bracket relic pioneers close black lens bracket. Need to go deep into the ruins deep in the wilderness. The risk factor is extremely high, but the income is also amazing. A certain level of Transcendent is required, or a team led by a high-level Transcendent is also possible. Usually those with higher talent are eligible to join. Open black lens bracket city wall night watchman close black lens bracket. It is on the city wall built by the Korn City State to resist those strange creatures and maintain the safety and stability of the city-state. If there is no large-scale siege of strange creatures, it will be relatively safe. And the location and lighthouse keeper are called lighthouse keeper by everyone. These people need the underground world of the Korn City State, guard the lighthouse, dispel the darkness, and destroy the dark monsters wandering from the depths of the darkness. Judging from the death rate, the lighthouse gatekeeper is much more dangerous than the city wall night watchman. When those monsters saw humans, it was like seeing food. They will attack crazily until they die, or use human corpses as food and bring them back to the darkness. After a while, Zhou Yu calmed down his distracted mood. Although this job is dangerous, it is also where my life is after all. Since we want to step on the road of Transcendent, we need to make contributions to the city-state. At the same time, during the garrison process, the battle improves the strength. Zhou Yu squeezed his fist and said in a deep voice. Right now. Ding. The 1000-fold talent amplification system is activated. Ding. The novice gift package is here to send, please check with the host. Zhou Yu was stunned by the intruding sound. System. Have the benefits of the traversers finally arrived? It was only when he traveled to this weird transcendent world. Zhou Yu also has many fantasies about the Goldfinger system. But as time passed, there was no sign of Goldfinger appearing at all, so Zhou Yu became less concerned about this aspect. And today, Goldfinger is finally here. 1000-fold talent amplification system. Zhou Yu quietly thought about the system that just appeared. Talent is increasing by 1,000 times. Then this is too exaggerated. Thinking about it, Zhou Yu once again felt towards the talent light ball in his mind. At this time, the content displayed by Talent's light sphere is completely different. It can even be said that earth-shaking changes have taken place. Open black lens bracket talent close black lens bracket. 1000 times precise strike. Accurate plus 5000%. Quality. Grade E. Description. Your attack will hit the enemy with incomparable precision and deal extra huge damage. Hiss. Seeing the terrifying stack of values, Zhou Yu was a little dazed. This can no longer be described as terrifying. This value is completely unscientific. 1000-fold talent amplification system. It's really literal, just add 3 zeros after it, and it will be increased by 1000 times on the spot. This system is too hardcore. After a long time, Zhou Yu gradually digested the incredible scene in front of him. Re-examine talent after this new 1000-fold increase. The quality is still E-level, but the effect is probably stronger than that of an SSS level talent. It's even possible to go beyond the SSS class by a large margin. The higher the accuracy, the easier it is to hit the enemy. This is the characteristic of Transcendent talent. At the same time, the higher the accuracy, the more additional damage will be attached. According to the rules of the Transcendent world, for every 3% precision, there will be an additional 1% damage. Previously, Zhou Yu's precision was 5%, so the attack would have an additional 1.67% extra damage. Talent described it as slight additional damage, before, which is indeed in line with the 1.67% level, which is better than nothing. At this time, with the precision soaring to 5000%. That is to say, Zhou Yu will have 1667% extra damage. That's 16.7 times the bonus damage. Plus Zhou Yu's own attack. Each knife will be 17.7 times the crit damage. Moreover, it has a 5000% accurate blessing. It was almost impossible for the enemy to block Zhou Yu's attack. An attack that is almost guaranteed to hit, plus 17.7 times the terrible damage. Zhou Yu has already thoroughly felt the terrifying heaven-defying feature of the thousand-fold talent system. That's right, there is also a gift package for beginners from the system. Feel it in your head. Accept own Transcendent Talent Light Sphere. Zhou Yu also felt a blue-gray ball of light, which was the newbie gift package. As Zhou Yu touched the blue-gray light ball, 3 objects appeared in front of Zhou Yu. Open black lens bracket Transcendent Talent Scroll close black lens bracket C grade. Transcendent Skill Scroll C grade. Transcendent Sequence Promotion Card 2 stars. Staring at it for a while, Zhou Yu's cheeks showed joy. This novice gift package is really rich. Outside, I'm afraid you have to pay a huge price to get these things. Among the 3 treasures, the C-level Transcendent Skill Scroll with the lowest value is worth thousands of Transcendent coins. In the Corn Steam Federation, the median salary is only 22 Transcendent coins. As for the C-rank Transcendent Talent Scroll, the value is even higher. Not to mention the powerful sequence treasure that makes the Transcendent Sequence promoted to 2 stars. Concentrate your mind. Zhou Yu clicked on the C-level Transcendent Skill Scroll. With the disappearance of the skill scroll, a skill light ball also appeared in Zhou Yu's mind. Open black lens bracket Transcendent Skills close black lens bracket. Cage. Quality. Grade C. LV. Level 0. Description. Unleash the power of cage slash and dash forward for a certain distance. Zhou Yu is quite clear about this wind shadow slash. This is a transcendent skill that rushes in with good damage. And with practice, the distance of the dash will become farther and farther, and at the same time, the number of dashes will increase, and the power of wind and shadow carried and the destructive power will also increase exponentially. Transcendent talent and transcendent skills, both are a perfect combination. Accurate talent, with 16 times the additional damage, can also be perfectly added to this wind shadow slash. The power of wind shadow slash itself is not weak. Another 16 times increase. The damage is simply exaggerated. Even in the underground dark world, if I encounter a boss-level existence, as long as I have a certain transcendent level, I won't be too afraid. Before, Zhou Yu is also worried about his own safety when he joins Lighthouse Keeper. But with the acquisition of the 1000 times talent amplification system, and the opening of the novice spree, Zhou Yu is not only no longer worried about going underground. On the contrary, I hope to enter the ground as soon as possible to resist the underground monsters. After all, in this transcendent world, hunting monsters can gain a certain amount of experience energy, which allows Zhou Yu to level up faster. Satisfied, Zhou Yu looked at the C-rank, Transcendent Talent Scroll, again. Just an E-level talent, with a 1000-fold increase, has brought about an earth-shaking change in me. I don't know what kind of changes this C-level talent will bring to me. With Zhou Yu's use, the C-level Transcendent Talent Scroll turned into light and poured into Zhou Yu's body. In the Transcendent Talent Light Sphere, the second Transcendent Talent emerged. Open black lens bracket talent close black lens bracket. 1000 times the grasp of immortality. Quality. Grade C. Description. Every time you kill an enemy, you will get a large increase in life limit, physical defense, and soul defense. The grasp of immortality. Looking at this familiar name, Zhou Yu frowned. Leaving aside the name itself, there is no doubt, this is a growth talent. As for growth talents, in the transcendent world, they are very rare and rare. It is a standard super late stage talent. Even if it is a C-level growth talent. As long as there is enough room for growth, it is not weaker than S rank at all. Growing talent, although it will not directly improve its own strength. But, as you continue to practice and fight, its effect will become greater and greater. And for me, Zhou Yu's eyes narrowed slightly. This is a talent with a 1000-fold increase. Each kill is equivalent to thousands of kills. The rate of improvement is quite amazing. And this is the growth of health, physical defense, and soul defense. Now, Zhou Yu couldn't wait to rush to the ground and fight with the dark monster. After a few breaths, Zhou Yu suppressed the heat in his heart. Focus on the third novice spree item, the 2-star Transcendent Sequence Promotion card. This is a magical card that can promote a 1-star Transcendent Sequence to a 2-star Transcendent Sequence. Ordinary people like Zhou Yu who have awakened an E-level talent. The newly acquired Transcendent Sequences are basically 1-star Transcendent Sequences with very weak growth potential. Only those talents with powerful B-level, A-level, A-level, and even S-level exist. It is possible to directly obtain a 2-star or even a 3-star Transcendent Sequence when inheriting the Transcendent Sequence. If nothing else happens, people like Zhou Yu will be accompanied by a 1-star sequence for the rest of their lives. And Zhou Yu, using this 2-star Transcendent Sequence promotion card, can allow OWN to obtain the Transcendent Sequence in the future, which can be promoted to 2 stars. Master the 2-star sequence. When you upgrade, you will get more upgrades. Take a second look at yourself. Call. Zhou Yu breathed a sigh of relief. The arrival of the system seems to have completed Zhou Yu's magnificent transformation. Corn Steam City State. The underground lighthouse line of defense against underground monsters, where hundreds of people are said to die every year. And this is without the outbreak of large-scale battles. And if a large-scale battle breaks out, thousands of people may die. Known as the city-state of Kern, 3 high-risk occupations, this is no joke. Passing through the bustling underground city market, the road ahead became deserted and depressing. There is only a wall lamp in the underground passageway far away. Although it is known that this is the inner layer of the dungeon, dark monsters generally do not appear. Even some not so powerful dark creatures like goblins, and kobolds rarely appear. But Zhou Yu was still very cautious. Squeezing the iron sword in his hand, Zhou Yu felt more secure. Just when Zhou Yu was about to enter the dark corridor. Students in front, wait a minute. A voice came from behind Zhou Yu. Turn around and look. I saw a female student in a tight white combat uniform running towards Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu stared carefully. It turned out to be Sister Diana. This is really AC level. Zhou Yu sighed softly. The visitor, Zhou Yu, is Diana's senior from the same class. Awakened AC rank talent. Among the graduates of this year, they belong to the top part. Sister Diana, why did you come here? When Senior Diana arrived, Zhou Yu asked. You know me. Senior Diana looked at Zhou Yu with wide eyes. Obviously she didn't know Zhou Yu. The class flower of class 56 of the 144th class, right? When Zhou Yu said this, Senior Diana blushed slightly. She is proud of her figure and has a very high appearance. There are not a few people who pursue her. This road may be dangerous, let's go together. Diana said a little shyly. Okay. On the way, Zhou Yu asked, Senior Diana, aren't you AC level talent after awakening? It stands to reason that you can go to the Ruins Pioneer team. Ah, I heard them say that the Ruins Pioneers are too dangerous, so I tried to apply for the commander of the underground lighthouse garrison. As a result, I got hired. That's right, Zhou Yu responded. Talent is tall, starting as a lighthouse commander. It's not at the same level as cannon fodder like Zhou Yu. What about you? Diana asked. Come to the underground world to be cannon fodder. Zhou Yu said bluntly. Ah, Diana was startled, although she also heard that some people stationed underground who are not talented are used as cannon fodder. But it was the first time she had heard of it so confidently. Can you be so proud of being a cannon fodder? No, stationing the underground lighthouse, as long as we unite, it will be easy to get through. Diana whispered. Nodding, Zhou Yu didn't say much more. In the transcendent world, talent almost determines everything for many people. He awakened the S level, went to the Transcendent Temple, and the road to the Superior has already opened. You have awakened to A level, and you have been trained by the Steam City State, and you are in charge of authority. And I awakened the E class, went to the underground world, garrisoned the lighthouse, and acted as cannon fodder. We all have a bright future. It's brutal, but that's the reality. In the Steam City State of Korn, the underground world is very wide. From the inner residential area to the outer lighthouse defense line, there is a short distance. if it is not for the guidance of the wall lamp on the rock wall. It is easy to get lost in the underpass branching off. As he was walking, Zhou Yu's expression moved slightly. Hush! Zhou Yu immediately booed. Diana, who was traveling with her, also became vigilant and looked around cautiously. What's wrong? She asked in a low voice. Over there, there's movement. Zhou Yu pointed to the fork in the road ahead, a passage without wall lights. After Zhou Yu obtained the 1000 times talent amplification system. In terms of growth, there are not only transcendent talents that have emerged. Zhou Yu's own comprehension talent, perception talent, and even the talent that fits with the transcendent source force, and many other, hidden talents, that have not been shown. They also got a 1000-fold increase. This morning, after waking up, as the body gradually adapted to the effect of the 1000-fold increase. In all aspects, the effect of the 1000-fold talent increase has begun to emerge. Such as say, in the surrounding environment, Zhou Yu can easily feel the faint transcendent origin. And here and now, in that fork in the road, there were a few knots of powerful dark auras. Zhou Yu could also feel it clearly. The two quietly came to the fork in the road. Stare at the dark passageway with black lights and blind lights. Zhou Yu looked at Diana. There are about 4 dark goblins inside. Sister, don't make any noise, I'm going in. Yeah, Diana nodded. Zhou Yu quietly groped into the depths of the cave. Dark vision. It is also a type of talent. After a 1000-fold increase, with some adaptation. There is nothing wrong with going into the darkness alone. If he hadn't possessed such a talent as the grasp of immortality, Zhou Yu would naturally not have provoked these dark goblins. But the immortal grip talent is in hand. Every kill will greatly increase Zhou Yu's life, defense and other attributes. Zhou Yu naturally would not let go of such a good opportunity. Come around the corner. 4 goblins are rummaging through the grass in the passage, looking for food such as scorpions, centipedes, and cicada pupae. Zhou Yu rushed forward with a stride. Wind shadow slash. The berserk madness enveloped Zhou Yu, more than doubling Zhou Yu's speed. The sharp wave of wind blades smashed the grass, vines, and shrubs where Zhou Yu passed. Zhou Yu rushed to the center of the 3 goblins precisely. Laugh, laugh, laugh. The wind and waves turned into pieces of shadow blades, killing the 3 goblins on the spot. This 16 times extra damage is amazing. Although goblins are relatively weak dark creatures. But it can also compete with humans who have never mastered the transcendent sequence. But under Zhou Yu's powerful talent and skills, he was instantly killed. Oak, oak. The only remaining goblin among the 4 goblins brandished a bone club and charged towards Zhou Yu with a howl. Zhou Yu raised his hand and stabbed out with a sword. This sword was so fast that Zhou Yu couldn't see it clearly. And it turned out amazingly good. Laugh. The blade pierced through the head of the last goblin with ease. Kill in 1 hit. Yesterday, Zhou Yu tried this 5000% accurate effect. Zhou Yu only needs to make a move. Then this strike will hit the target within the range at an extremely fast speed. Moreover, you can fight wherever you want. This is the powerful effect that the 5000% accurate transcendent talent brought to Zhou Yu. Get rid of these 4 goblins easily. Zhou Yu felt his own body and began to change. Transcendent talent, the characteristics of the grasp of immortality have begun to show their power. Zhou Yu immediately sat up cross-legged. Zhou Yu's breath of life began to rise continuously. The thicker the breath of life, the stronger the vitality. While the breath of life is rising, Zhou Yu's physical defense and soul defense also increased rapidly at an exaggerated rate. But 5 or 6 seconds, Zhou Yu felt that his life frankness had doubled, and so had his defense power. This improvement effect lasted for nearly half a minute. The frankness of life has increased by 4 times, and the defense of the body and the defense of the soul have also increased by 4 times. In general, my strength has increased several times. And this is just killing 4 ordinary dark goblins. If this kills thousands of dark creatures, wouldn't my health and defense increase by 1000 times? This 1000-fold talent increase is really terrifying. Although shocking, Zhou Yu was more pleasantly surprised. With the indestructible grip that has been multiplied by 1000 times, Zhou Yu Heku's own frankness. Student, are you still okay? Diana, who had been waiting for a few minutes, finally couldn't help asking. Just come out. After a while, Zhou Yu came out with his long sword on his back. Diana examined Zhou Yu. She felt that Zhou Yu seemed to be a little different from before he went in. But what was different, she couldn't tell. The 4 goblins were quickly dealt with by the junior. It seems that the strength of this junior is really powerful. Now, it is very difficult for me to deal with a goblin by myself. Diana thought in her heart. Think silently. Sister, let's continue on the road. Zhou Yu smiled lightly. It didn't take much time to kill the goblins and digest the attributes of growth. In the following time, Zhou Yu tried to absorb and digest the energy gained from killing the goblins. Although it has 1,000-fold increase in talent, the degree of fit between Zhou Yu and Yuan is very high. However, the energy contributed by those goblins is just that little, and it can be digested in 3s and 5s. And the surrounding environment of that cave is nearly 3 times higher than the transcendent source outside. Zhou Yu practiced a little in it for a few minutes. If the senior sister hadn't called him, he would have planned to practice for a while longer. In the underground world, generally speaking, the original power is thicker than that of the surface. And the caves in this underground world, in some areas, have very strong original power. In these places, other people can't detect it, but I can clearly feel it. In the underground world, not only can you kill dark creatures and dark monsters, but also increase your life frankness. At the same time, you can also practice in those places with strong roots. This underground world is really a good place for treasures. Zhou Yu thought happily. All the way forward, not long after, the two came to the front line of the underground lighthouse. Zhou Yu went to lighthouse number 12, and Diana went to lighthouse 18. When parting, Diana waved to Zhou Yu. Student, don't know your name yet. Zhou Yu said sharply. I'll come over to play with you when I have time. Guard the lighthouse, come on. Diana made a cheering gesture to Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu had a good impression of this senior who had an interesting conversation along the way. Hey, boy, you have already come to the front line of cannon fodder, do you still want to fall in love? Maybe it will turn into a corpse that day. At that time, your senior sister will take advantage of others. Before Diana could go far away, there was a playful laugh coming from behind Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu turned around and looked at the lighthouse guards who were wearing light armor and holding weapons. There is no doubt that these are old oilmen who have been stationed at the lighthouse for many years. They don't have the courage to desperately guard the lighthouse. But in the name of guarding the lighthouse, they not only have the courage to exploit and bully newcomers, but they are very big. Take care of your mouth, otherwise, I don't mind tearing it up for you. Zhou Yu said in an indifferent tone. Zhou Yu is not his father, so naturally there is no reason to spoil him. These words made those veterans furious. Boy, are you courting death again? Zhou Yu's eyes flicked over the 4 lighthouse guards, and he said calmly, want to fight? Then stop talking nonsense and let the 4 go together. Today, I will let you all be carried back. In the underground lighthouse keeper system. The weak are serious cannon fodder, and no one will collect the body after death. Only those who are strong are eligible to be promoted to rank. The weak and the strong, from the awakening of talent, this moment, has already been decided. An underground line of defense shrouded in darkness and threatened by monsters. Conflict is inevitable. The managers of the lighthouse defense line also turned a blind eye. Strength. It is the rigid standard for the right to speak here. Zhou Yu's aura obviously frightened the 4 veterans. Looking at the posture, it is obviously not a good stubble. If it was really a powerful guy, they would lose all face today. What are you afraid of? Come on. 4 against 1, the advantage lies with you, so give me a hammer. Are all newbies this arrogant? The other lighthouse garrisoners around were all watching the excitement at this time, and they were desperately fighting the fire. In Zhou Yu's perception, the level of these 4 soldiers was clear. Even if Zhou Yu didn't kill the dark goblin, his life would be more stable, and his defense ability would increase by 4 times. Zhou Yu was able to deal with these 4 soldiers just by relying on his precise talent. And with 4 times the frankness of life, Zhou Yu was able to hammer these 4 guys to the ground. Are you all itchy? At this moment, a clear and sharp voice sounded. When the lighthouse guards heard the sound, they fled in all directions like a mouse seeing a cat. Inside the lighthouse station, a woman wearing a black battle armor and leading 5 or 6 transcendent soldiers came out heroically. Wherever his gaze swept, no one dared to look at him. The manager of Lighthouse Number 12, the captain, Su Bai. The flames of the conflict had just been ignited, and then extinguished with the arrival of Commander-in-Chief Su Bai. His eyes gradually passed over the group of more than 30 newcomers who arrived. In the end, the Commander-in-Chief Su Bai's eyes fell on Zhou Yu. "What's your name?" Su Bai asked. "Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu." Su Bai took the documents and files handed over by his subordinates. Flipping through the pages, he looked at Zhou Yu again. "Zhou Yu, E-Class Talent Awakener, talent as precision." When those veterans heard this, their hearts exploded even more. Damn it, did you think it was some kind of expert? It turned out to be just a little E-level trash. If he hadn't been cheated by him just now, I guarantee that this guy won't be able to get out of bed for 3 months. This E-class little trash, Daddy remembers. At this time, the veterans who had been bluffed by Zhou Yu just now had secretly made up their minds to deal with Zhou Yu severely in the future. "You are very courageous. I hope your strength is the same as your courage and don't let me down." Su Bai closed the document and looked at Zhou Yu with piercing eyes. "Are you interested in being the 10 commander?" Su Bai's words stunned all the newcomers who came to report. The 10 commander is the captain of the team stationed at the lighthouse and can command 10 people. When newcomers arrive, they basically start at the bottom. In order to be the 10 commander, one needs not only sufficient strength, but also a certain amount of military exploits. Neither is easy. This time, Zhou Yu was just a fox pretending to be a tiger, and he actually got a 10 husband. This made many people wonder whether they should also pretend to be arrogant and domineering, and maybe they can also become a leader. However, they were a little afraid of what would happen if they failed to pretend. Pretend is also risky. "No problem at all." Zhou Yu, who was a little surprised, immediately nodded in response. "Even if you start from the bottom of the cannon fodder, Zhou Yu can also rise rapidly. But now, as the leader of the team, the starting point is even higher." "Very good." Su Bai nodded. "Throw over a 10-man token. On the front is the lettering of the 10 commander, and on the back is the camp number. Choose 10 newcomers by yourself. During this time, the monsters in the dark are very restless. Soon you will have tasks to perform, while receiving some military camp supplies." Zhou Yu also walked around the entire camp by the way. He already has a certain understanding of the entire lighthouse camp. Lighthouse number 12 is just stationed at the intersection of nodes in an underground cave. Further into the darkness there are 3 forks. Every fork in the road advances into the darkness, and you will reach the lighthouse defense line. The lighthouse line is the real battlefront. The entire camp, under the leadership of the commander, Su Bai, participated in the cleanup and mopping up, and resisted the attack of dark creatures. At this stage, although I have not obtained the Transcendent profession, however, my strength is already much stronger than many Transcendents who have mastered the Transcendent profession. There is no problem at all in the battle with dark creatures. Entering the front line to fight, for me, as long as I am careful, I will use the 1000 times indestructible grip to develop steadily. There is no problem with the dark boss alone. After all, maybe the dark boss's frankness is not as high as mine. And when I kill more dark creatures and make more combat exploits, I can still obtain the Transcendent profession as soon as possible. Think about it. Zhou Yu returned to his dormitory at No. the 8th of June 12 camp. Just entered the door. The 10 subordinates I selected just now immediately surrounded him. "Dage good. Dage, do you smoke? Dage, pump me, mine is strong." Looking at this group of fawning own, cannon fodder, Zhou Yu's face was covered. "Gah, what the hell is this?" Zhou Yu waved his hand. "Stand up for me." These people's expressions were concentrated, and they all stood up immediately. The living environment of the Cornsteam city-state is not good. Distributed work. As good as it looks, it's actually brutal. If you don't follow the arrangement, you don't want to come underground for defensive work. Then, they will be forcibly arrested by law enforcement agencies, and then thrown into the mine for forced labor, and the end will be even worse. And enter the underground, stationed in the lighthouse. When performing missions, military orders are like mountains. These people are Zhou Yu's subordinates, and Zhou Yu has absolute command over these people. They will do whatever Zhou Yu tells them to do. You said that you were sent to investigate in the depths of the darkness. Is this sending you to death? How dare you disobey the military order, drag it out, and shoot it for 10 minutes. Everyone is afraid of being assigned a task with a high death rate. The same is true for these people in Zhou Yu's team. These people, like Talent, are assigned to the dangerous task of guarding the lighthouse, and they all want to spend these years safely. In the future, it will be stronger and safer. No one wants to die at the hands of dark creatures when their strength is relatively weak. Now we are weak, the core is just one word, mix. After all, Zhou Yu thought the same way before, and being a bastard in the early stage was enough. His eyes gradually swept across the crowd. Don't worry, I won't send you at will for the task of entering the darkness and detecting the dynamics of dark creatures. When Zhou Yu said this, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. What a joke. Entering the dark area on the front line of the lighthouse, this is a rare opportunity to fight against dark creatures. You want to grab soldiers in front of me. Think beautifully. However, you have to perform all kinds of tasks in normal times for me. If you want to be bastards, you have to learn to lie down. Zhou Yu said in a sonorous tone. Dage, don't worry, as long as we don't send us to die as cannon fodder, we promise to do what you say. A team member said with a compliment. That's right, Dage is what you say, we promise to listen to you. Others promised one after another, for fear that Zhou Yu would go back on his word. About the garrison of the underground lighthouse, the matter of veterans sending recruits to death is almost a well-known thing in the Steam City-state of Kern. Those veterans are really not a thing. They persecute new recruits every day. It seems to scare these guys. Zhou Yu rubbed his eyebrows. While thinking about it, Zhou Yu distributed the magic bracelet he had just brought from the supplies department to everyone. This magic bracelet, you all know how to use it. Of course I know. Military merit, position, identity, and future transcendent career inheritance all need this magic bracelet. Bringing the magic bracelet, every time we kill a dark creature, it will be recorded and converted into military exploits. After getting the magic bracelet, everyone started to record their own information. The current technological level of the Korn Steam City-state is only in the age of steam. And these, Devil Spirit bracelets, belong to a higher level magic soul network of the age of demon spirits. The Korn Steam Federation naturally does not have enough transcendent technology to build a magic network. But Zhou Yu knew that the Korn Steam Federation was within the sphere of influence of the Sun God Empire. It is said that the Kern Steam Federation spent a lot of money to get those senior, Demon Engineering Academy, people to come and build the Demon Tower of the Kern Steam Federation. This allowed the Kern Federation to possess transcendent technology beyond the current level. Zhou Yu also heard that the huge Sun God Empire seems to be starting a war of planes. Some time ago, the Korn Steam Federation was also drawn part of its troops. As for whether the news was true or false, Zhou Yu's status was beyond his reach. After entering the information, Zhou Yu was checking the own-related information in the magic bracelet. The camp dormitory door was pushed open. Zhou Yu, who is it? A man nearly 2 meters tall, holding a spear, sounded like thunder. Everyone was also startled by this burly body. Could it be to find fault? Many people were tense, and even started to look for a corner where they would hide when the battle happened. They remember very clearly the situation when Zhou Yu provoked those veterans. I am. Zhou Yu stepped forward, staring slightly at the burly man with his eyes. Zhou Yu is 1.78 meters tall, but compared to this burly 2-meter strong man, he looks extremely thin. The opponent's arms were thicker than Zhou Yu's thighs. I am the quartermaster of Centurion, Zhang Lei. You have a task to perform. My lord, Zhou Yu is here. Let him in. Quartermaster Zhao Kai pushed open the door of the Centurion command. Zhou Yu strode into Lighthouse number 12, the headquarters of Centurion Battalion number 6. There are 7 or 8 people in the command department. The leader is wearing a dark red armor, and the armor is full of traces of knives and axes. And its transcendent breath is even thicker and richer. Obviously a fierce warrior who has been battle-tested. You are recruit Zhou Yu. Centurion Zhang Lei looked at Zhou Yu. It's the commander, Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu said, looking directly at Zhang Lei without humility. Zhang Lei stared at it for a while, but laughed instead. It's a bit bloody, much better than those soft eggs. The energy and blood in this body is also amazingly strong. You haven't acquired the Transcendent profession yet. No, Zhou Yu shook his head. I have not obtained the Transcendent profession, and the level has not been raised, but I already have such a strong blood. Tisk tisk. No wonder the Commander-in-Chief directly promoted you to be the Commander-in-Chief. You really have potential. If you perform well in this garrison battle, I will apply to the Commander-in-Chief to let you accept the Transcendent inheritance as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. Zhang Lei. Zhou Yu meant it sincerely. Talent cannot be upgraded until it is awakened. Only by inheriting the Transcendent sequence can one continue to advance to the next level. The higher the level, the stronger the strength. Wait until everyone gathers around the cave sand table. Only then did Zhang Lei talk about it. Every autumn is the time when all kinds of creatures come out of their nests. Having studied dark biology, you all know that 17 years is a relatively special cycle number. Every year in this special year, there will be a large number of dark chrysalis nests, and an astonishing number of dark creatures will be hatched. And this year is the 17-year cycle node. After Zhang Lei finished speaking, Zhou Yu's expression moved slightly. The rest of the eyes flicked across the crowd, and the others all looked calm, obviously knowing the situation. It's for me, Zhou Yu suddenly realized. The 17-year dark chrysalis nest is really tricky. But it's not a big problem for me. The number of dark creatures appearing this year will be 3 times that of previous ones. Moreover, there will be a certain number of elite creatures appearing, even boss-level dark creatures appearing. When Zhao Lei was talking, Zhou Yu couldn't help but think about it too. Killing ordinary dark goblin creatures has already greatly increased my attributes. I don't know, killing elite creatures, and killing boss-level creatures. Whether there are more attributes added. Zhou Yu calmed down and continued to listen to Zhang Lei's narration. Currently, there is already a large-scale gathering of dark creatures outside our number 12 lighthouse defense line. The Ghostwood Forest area where our number 6 Centurion Battalion is stationed. There are a lot of howling ghost trees and kobolds. Those howling ghost trees in the ghost forest, as long as we don't go in, it's okay. And in the intricate crypts in that area, a large number of kobolds have been stockpiled. We need to clean up this group of kobolds in advance. In this way, our defensive pressure will be less. Next, I will assign tasks. No, 2 Commander, you. No, 4 Commander, you. Soon it will be the turn of Zhou Yu, the number 8 10-man team. Your main purpose is to protect the lighthouse when teams 2, 4, and 6 are out hunting. Master Centurion still takes good care of us, Zhou Yu thought to himself. However, guarding the lighthouse can also patrol the surrounding area. It's time for me to harvest slowly and grow steadily nearby. Although it's slower, it's better than being safe. Be careful in the early stage, it's not a big problem. After completing the task, Zhang Lei looked around at everyone. Do you understand everything? Everyone. Understood. Afternoon. 4 teams of 10 men arrived at the garrison point of Ghostwood Forest Lighthouse together. No, 2, number 4, and number 6 are ready, and they are ready to go deep into the dark cave. The number 8 Shifu squad led by Zhou Yu was stationed in a square lighthouse garrison point with a length of 10 meters, a width of 10 meters, and a height of about 5 meters. Only the lighthouse guarded inside can bring a little light. The outside is dark, with dangerous monsters wandering around. When going outside to solve physical problems, you will encounter dark monsters sneaking up on you. Under such circumstances, no one would be willing to enter the darkness. After all, in that dark cave, if you don't do it well, you will lose your way. Not to mention, in the depths of the darkness, there are an astonishing number of dark monster kobolds. After patrolling one side of the Ghostwood Lighthouse, Zhou Yu is still very satisfied with this stronghold. The walls are very high and thick. Even if a certain number of kobolds attack, it is difficult to break through the city wall defense in a short time. And this would allow Zhou Yu enough time to patrol the surrounding area, harvest some dark creatures along the way, and improve his strength. You guys, stay here and guard the lighthouse. I will go and look around alone, and get used to the surrounding environment. I'm not far away. If there is any situation, I will come back as soon as possible. When Zhou Yu said this, many gang members looked at Zhou Yu in astonishment. Why go deep into the darkness? Wouldn't it be nice to stay in the lighthouse station? Captain, are you really so brave? Seeing this endless darkness, I feel scared. The captain is lucky. Coming here is like returning home. Under the astonished and admiring eyes of the team members, Zhou figure quickly disappeared into the darkness. In the eyes of others, the oppressive, dull darkness almost cuts off vision. But as Zhou left the stronghold and entered the darkness, after some adaptation, Zhou could clearly see the surrounding rock walls, grass, bushes, and even some insects in the bushes. The powerful thousand-fold amplification allowed Zhou's vision to easily adapt to the darkness. Stay in the lighthouse, although it smells good, but when you come out to play in the wild, he smells even better. In the transcendent world, strength is the foundation of everything. Using the characteristics of the grip of the undying, sneaking into the wild, my life frankness, physical defense, and soul defense will all increase significantly. Killing a dark creature will increase my basic attribute of a unit. As long as I kill enough, then my health bar will be long enough, and my defense ability will also make the enemy's output completely in a scraping state. Zhou is very clear about the heaven-defying characteristics of own grasp of immortality talent. At this stage, sneaky recruiting is the kingly way. 2 goblins. So happy. ... Huo, there is actually one hidden here. Do you think I can't see you if you bury your head in the sand? ... Don't run, look at the azure dragon in my sleeve. Zhou stared at the fleeing goblin, and threw out the long sword in his hand. Has a very heaven-defying precision talent. Zhou just tried his best to perform miracles. Jian, just throw it away, and leave the rest to me. The long sword thrown out by Zhou was like a flying sword. Laugh, accurately pierces the head of a fleeing dark goblin. Pull back the long sword. Zhou found a clean place to sit down, took out water and food, and rested to supplement his strength. Zhou has been wandering in the dark for more than an hour. Physical strength has been exhausted almost. The grasp of immortality improves frankness and defense. My own strength, stamina, endurance and other aspects have not improved significantly. Obviously, these aspects are not in the aspect of improving the grip of immortality. Strength, stamina, endurance, I need to become a transcendent myself and upgrade the level to be able to be strengthened. This more than an hour of patrol wandering. And the number of dark creatures killed was not too many, but there were 22 of them. 22, plus the 4 previously killed. This allowed Zhou to now have 26 times the life frankness and 26 times the defense of the basic physical body. Zhou reckoned, owning this body. I'm afraid it is stronger than leather armor, comparable to some light armor. Zhou tried it before, letting the goblin's gavel hit Zhou's body. The percussion feels so light that even massagers despise it. Today's Zhou is already at the level of a small humanoid tank. If it reaches 50 times life frankness and defense, that's a real heavy tank. Kill a few more, and it's time to go back. Otherwise, those bastard teammates thought I died in the dark. At the same time, Zhou's eyes fell on the goblin who was stabbed to death by throwing his long sword blindly. Transcendent talent itself has the characteristics of transcendent rules. It can be said that it is a combination of its own characteristics and transcendent rules. My 5000% accuracy can completely develop different routines. Although I am going to take the path of a tank fighter. However, as a hacker player, he can develop morally, intellectually, physically, aesthetically and in an all-round way. Learn the flying daggers technology, and hide the azure dragon in the sleeve, it makes sense. It's almost time to rest. Zhou stood up and was about to head towards the camp. Zhou frowned slightly. He looked towards the corner of the cave not far away. I saw 2 skeletons holding bone knives came out. Skeleton soldiers. Zhou's expression changed. There seems to be no skeleton soldiers in the area where lighthouse number 12 is located. At this time, the 2 skeleton soldiers found Zhou. Immediately took a big stride and galloped over. Zhou looked at the 2 skeleton soldiers, felt it carefully, and couldn't help laughing. It turns out that it is like this. Zhou raised his hand and swept across with a sword. The moves are mediocre, but their power is astonishing. The 2 skeleton soldiers seemed to have been hit by a heavy truck. Caw caw caw, pong. The bone fragments of the 2 skeletons collapsed on the spot and shattered to the ground. Look at the two skeletons that were killed in seconds. Feel again the astonishing growth rate in On's body as before, the astonishing improvement of life frankness and defense power. A brand new idea unfolded in front of Zhou Yu's eyes. Zhou Yu immediately ran away from where the two skeleton soldiers came. These two skeleton soldiers are not wild dark creatures. It's summoning. With his strong perception ability, Zhou Yu could vaguely feel the direction of the guy who manipulated the skeleton soldiers. In this area, normal dark creatures are not easy to find. And once the guy manipulating the skeleton soldiers is caught, that's completely different. First of all, skeleton soldiers are also the same as dark creatures. After killing, increase attributes. As for the guy who summoned skeleton soldiers, he could definitely summon skeletons continuously. Catch this guy and let him continuously summon skeleton soldiers for Zhou Yu to kill. That's like a card bug upgrade. Take off directly on the spot. Follow this dark corridor for about 100 meters. An abandoned underground castle that looked very desolate appeared in front of Zhou Yu. Jia Jia Jia. The sinister laughter floated eerily in the surrounding space. I don't know where the necromancer came from. Zhou Yu's heart moved slightly. Inside the world of Transcendent, there are quite a few Transcendent sequences that are not popular, even hated. And necromancers, who specialize in digging out people's ancestral graves, and by the way, also part-time grave robbers. Naturally, everyone shouted and beat them. You need to be in the second class, otherwise that guy might not be willing to continuously summon skeleton soldiers to help me. Zhou Yu waved his long sword and shouted at the castle with a serious face. Evil necromancer, I, Cornstein City, the knight in charge of light and fairness, will destroy you on behalf of justice today, come out and die. Apparently, Zhou Yu's embarrassing second line surprised the necromancer too. But looking at Zhou Yu's face of only 17 or 18 years old, a slight smile appeared on the cheeks of the necromancer, Ryu, that were as dry as bark. Now, is there really such a second-year idiot? If he hadn't been trapped here by that treasure, he wanted to rush out now, bite the young man's throat, and taste his blood. He hadn't tasted blood for too long. The two skeletons just now should have been killed by him. Well, a little bit of strength, but it's harmless. With that in mind, Ryu waved his skeleton-like palm. The large expanse of soil around Zhou Yu began to turn. Then one by one the skeletons broke through the ground. There are more than 30 skeletons. Moreover, these skeletons are not like the previous 4 5th-level ordinary skeletons. In Zhou Yu's perception, these skeletons started at least level 10. FK, you are serious? Seeing so many high-level skeletons suddenly appear, Zhou Yu was also startled. Immediately, Zhou Yu secretly elated. These more than 30 skeletons are a 30-fold increase in life frankness. Enough to make Zhou Yu increase to more than 60 times. I am incompatible with evil. With a loud roar, Zhou Yu charged forward. Even these 10-level skeletons have relatively high life and defense. But under Zhou Yu's 17 times damage. With 2 swords, Zhou Yu can finish 1. Plus Zhou Yu's Wind Shadow Slash. It is combined with Zhou Yu's super frankness and the fact that he is not afraid of enemy attacks at all. Zhou Yu cleaned up the 30-odd skeletons almost like a whirlwind. The bone knives of those skeleton soldiers slashed at Zhou Yu. Although it hurts a bit, it doesn't break the defense at all. The flesh body is comparable to light armor, this is no joke. Even as Zhou Yu continued to kill the skeletons, Zhou Yu's defensive ability is also constantly rising. When it came to the last few, when the skeleton's bone knife fell on Zhou Yu's body, even the pain was greatly weakened. To Zhou Yu, a skeleton creature of more than 10 levels is completely scraping. Now, it's almost 60 times the base. It can already be called a heavy tank level existence, both in terms of soul and body. After killing these skeletons, Zhou Yu looked at the abandoned castle again. And at this time, the necromancer, Ryu, was completely shocked. This guy, first of all, it doesn't have a transcendent sequence. That is to say, its level should be 0. It doesn't even have a decent armor. When his skeleton attacked just now, this guy actually used his head to resist the knife. Are you that stubborn? And the result was really terrible. This guy is carrying dozens of knives attacks from many skeletons. Life came down abruptly, and killed all the skeleton creatures he summoned. Although these skeleton creatures were all summoned by him. But in the face of such a monster who didn't know where it came from, Ryu felt that things were not simple. Zhou Yu looked at the abandoned tower, but didn't speak. And Ryu looked at Zhou Yu outside, and didn't dare to speak easily. He now even suspects that this guy is most likely disguised by some terrifying existence. I'm waiting for my physical strength to recover. I don't know what you are waiting for. Are you waiting to die? Zhou Yu was secretly thinking while recovering his physical strength. Waiting. Zhou Yu also walked towards the castle to feel it carefully. It's a very powerful dark transcendent breath, and the level starts at least level 20. Although, my defense ability is very strong, but there are not many other transcendent means such as strength. In the face of that weird method, I may not be able to deal with it now. There's no need to go there. At the same time, there is a special aura in it, and it also has a dangerous feeling. Is it a treasure? That guy seems to be restricted by that strange treasure. As long as I don't go in, there is no danger. 40. Zhou Yu, who felt that his physical strength had almost recovered, said bluntly. What? Ryu was taken aback. Summon another 40 skeletons for me to kill. Zhou Yu said bluntly. You want to use my skeleton soldiers to gain military exploits. Ryu understood instantly. With your defensive ability, going to the front line of the lighthouse can also kill many dark creatures. If I can go, I still need you. Zhou Yu complained. Zhou Yu's task is to guard the lighthouse, and under the banner of patrolling, he secretly comes out to replenish troops and develop. If it is discovered by others, it is already a disobedience to the military order. If you dare to go outside the lighthouse, you will be discovered. With a backhanded report, Zhou Yu couldn't bear to walk around. As far as Zhou Yu's current strength is concerned, he is still not qualified to disobey the orders of the Cornsteam city-state. I told you to call, you call, or I will report you when I go out. Some time ago, the gravekeepers of the Kern city-state reported that someone dug up the ancestral graves of many nobles. I don't know if you did it. But as far as those nobles are always peeing, I think they should be happy to hang you on the street lamp to give you a sense of presence. Or tie you to a cross, appreciate the horror of your being burned to death, and hold another fundraising event by the way, cut a wave of leaks. In the name of paying homage to the ancestors, they will squeeze out the value of your existence too clean. Believe me, the lower limit of those nobles is beyond your imagination. Zhou Yu said with a smile. Then I will reveal the secret of your strong defense ability to the public. Ryu also threatened. Zhou Yu was completely shocked by this guy's words. Without 10 years of cerebral thrombosis, it is impossible to say such a thing. Zhou Yu spread his hands helplessly. I plan to get along with you as cannon fodder. The result is threats and mistrust. It's a showdown. I won't pretend anymore. I'm not cannon fodder, I'm a peerless genius. Although afterwards, I will inevitably be investigated. But after that, I will be trained by the city-state, and I can even become a noble and a high-ranking person in the future. And you will be loved by many people for exposing a peerless genius. They'll be happy to add 2 more logs to your ritual to burn you longer. This time, Ryu was completely silent. This guy who was a middle schooler before, is so treacherous and cunning. Even more shameless, he actually said he was a knight. After a long time, Ryu said in a deep voice. 40, right. Anger was suppressed in his tone. Yes, today Zhou Yu has killed many dark creatures. With its own life frankness and defense explosive increase. Zhou Yu could feel a slight swelling in On's body. Zhou Yu can roughly guess that this is caused by his rapid growth in a short period of time. After absorbing these 40 more, Zhou Yu planned to stop. 40 skeletons for you. Ryu's voice sounded at the same time. The surrounding land was turned again. Skeleton soldiers climbed out one by one. How many skeleton soldiers has this guy buried around? Looking at the new batch of skeleton soldiers, Zhou Yu thought while chopping. It's also possible that it wasn't the necromancer who hid the skeleton soldiers here. The skeleton that came out of the ground is just a form of summoning ceremony. Since that's the case, it's easy to handle. A steady stream of skeleton soldiers, this is an excellent spot to spawn monsters, and I don't need to look for dark creatures everywhere. Soon, Zhou Yu killed all of these more than 40 skeleton soldiers. At this time, Zhou Hanyu's frankness and defensive power have increased by more than 100 times the basic level. The sense of physical expansion became stronger. Don't know your name yet. Zhou Yu stopped and looked at the abandoned castle. Griu said angrily. It's over here today. In addition, I will make an appointment for tomorrow's battle. The number is 100 skeleton soldiers. Please prepare yourself, Your Excellency Griu. Zhou Yu said. Griu was furious on the spot. You put this card bug to brush your exploits. Zhou Yu left before Griu objected. When Zhou Yu returned to the garrison point of the Ghostwood Forest Lighthouse, the 10 cannon fodder teammates all looked at Zhou Yu in astonishment. Their captain Zhou Yu. It was fine when I left. When the results come back. Good guy, this suit of clothes is almost becoming rags. If this is a proper crime of endangering public safety in the city-state. Although Zhou Yu's physical body could withstand the attack of those skeleton soldiers. But Zhou Yu couldn't bear the clothes. It's a pity that Zhou Yu didn't have any combat achievements either, otherwise buying a soft armor could effectively cover up the fact that Zhou Yu's physical defense is amazing. After changing clothes, after inspecting and confirming that nothing unusual happened during his departure, Zhou Yu sat in cross-legged meditation in the bunker at the garrison point. Before, I was only 4 times the life frankness, and I was discovered by the Centurion Zhang Lei. And Lord Su Bo, the commander of Lighthouse number 12, probably sensed my strong vitality, and that's why he made me the 10 commander. Otherwise, there would be no reason for me to be the team leader of the 10 commander. And now, my chi and blood have increased 100-fold, which is equivalent to a 100-fold increase in the explosiveness of my blood bar. This group of bastard teammates can't find it. But other people may find out, and if the Centurion, Mr. Zhang Lei, comes to inspect, it's possible to find out, too. First, digest as much as possible. If you can restrain yourself, it's best to restrain yourself. It's really not good. At worst, just say I'm talented. There is nothing wrong with talent being strong. Sitting cross-legged with Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu's talent, which has been multiplied by 1,000 times, is also extremely effective at this time. That thick blood was actually gradually digested and restrained by Zhou Yu. From before 100 times the vitality. 90 times. 80 times. 50 times. 20 times. 10 times. After more than 2 hours, Zhou Yu's chi and blood had returned to the level of a normal person. It seems that it is the same as ordinary human beings, unremarkable. A talent with 1,000-fold increase, even a pig, can take off. Besides, my talent, although ordinary, is at least not a waste material. In the future, I will get some treasures to improve the talent's aptitude, so that my talent will be basically improved. Plus the increase of the 1,000-fold system. At that time, talent exploded even more. Zhou Yu restrained his mind. Sitting cross-legged, he began to absorb the thin original power around him. Although it does not acquire the transcendent profession, it absorbs the original power and will not upgrade. But these original forces will be hoarded. After obtaining it, there will be a wave of small explosions. There are many people who, before obtaining the transcendent profession, practiced painstakingly, killed and fought. When you get a transcendent career, you can directly advance to the 4th level, or even 5th level. Zhou Yu naturally had the same idea. The job of stationing an underground lighthouse. Although dangerous, if there is no attack by dark creatures, it is relatively safe. In the next few days, Zhou Yu secretly came out to replenish troops under the pretext of going out for inspections. With 100 times the basic health and defense every day, it will be rapidly improved. Before I knew it, it was the 5th day of guarding the lighthouse. Zhou Yu's life frankness has reached 500 times that of before, comparable to a superhuman physique. Lighthouse Station. At this time, teams number 2, number 4, and number 6 are making up for the stronghold. Zhou Yu patrolled back and forth on the 40-meter-long city wall. While completely unnecessary, face engineering is always done. You can't give the other 3 teams the feeling that you are fighting desperately on the front line while I lie comfortably behind. Zhou Yu, who was patrolling back and forth on the city wall, suddenly heard someone calling him. Zhou Yu followed the voice and looked. The one who called him was Lei Kai, the captain of the 2nd team. This Lei Kai is tall and burly, and it is said that he is a knight. The grade has reached 9th level. 9th level promotion to 10th level is a small threshold. Many 10 captains are stuck on this threshold and cannot break through. Captain Lei Kai, what's the matter? Zhou Yu went up to meet him. That's right, teams 4 and 6, several people were injured in yesterday's battle. I heard from your subordinates that you have been going deep into the darkness every day to fight dark creatures. Even killed a lot of dark creatures. Ahem. Zhou Yu interrupted Captain Lei Kai with a cough. Captain Lei Kai, don't listen to my subordinates talking nonsense. These days, I have devoted myself to my duties and guarded around the lighthouse. As for going to fight dark creatures in the dark, that's just a routine patrol, and I encountered a few dark creatures with no eyes. Zhou Yu didn't dare to wear the hat of AWOL. I know this. Lei Kai acted as if I understood. The main reason is that there are a lot of injured people. If we don't finish cleaning up those dark creatures according to the schedule, I'm afraid the Centurion will punish him. So I hope you can clean it up with us. Also, Lei Kai lowered his voice while speaking. We won't let you shoot in vain. We can leave a few more dark creatures on our side to give you military exploits. Now that Lei Kai has said so, then Zhou Yu naturally wouldn't shirk. It's okay to act together. But I have a request. Zhou Yu said after thinking. Seeing that Zhou Yu agreed, Lei Kai grinned. He had heard of it. In the past few days, Zhou Yu has entered the darkness for several hours at every turn. Even he didn't dare to act like this easily in the dark. After all, they would really encounter powerful dark creatures of more than a dozen levels. If he encounters a powerful dark monster, he will have to explain where it is. Zhou Yu, on the other hand, dared to do this and was safe and sound. Then Zhou Yu's strength was astonishing. Although I don't know how Zhou Yu did it this time. But it doesn't matter. As long as Zhou Yu is good, that's fine. If Zhou Yu is nothing more than a show, it's not their fault that they died. What request? Brother Zhou Yu, just say it. I need a set of light armor. Zhou Yu said. Zhou Yu's own defense ability does not need armor at all. But Zhou Yu needs armor to protect his own life. Heavy armor is better though. But the problem is that heavy armor can easily cost 50 or 60 kilograms. Zhou Yu is wearing it now, even if it doesn't mean that he will be overwhelmed. Light armor weighing about 20 pounds. It can effectively cover Zhou Yu's frankness problem without delaying Zhou Yu's replenishment. No problem. Lei Kai's chest thumped loudly. Give my brother a set of light armor, there is still no problem. Afternoon. Intact members of teams 2, 4, and 6. Plus Zhou Yu, and Zhou Yu's 2 bastard teammates. Let's go to the front together. Although On's 10 teammates are all bastards. But when Zhou Yu asked if anyone was willing to follow him to the front line, there were actually 2 teammates who expressed their willingness. Sure enough, every bastard has a heart for carry. 10 minutes later, everyone came to the outskirts of a kobold tribe. There are still some traces of fighting around. Ahead is a horde of kobolds. Lei Kai, who was lying in the grass, explained to Zhou Yu. Originally, there were more than 1,000 kobolds in this kobold tribe. After our cleaning up in the past few days, there are still about 800 kobolds left. Zhou Yu's mouth twitched when he heard that. It took 4 days to kill more than 200 kobolds. If he hadn't figured out the situation, Zhou Yu would almost have thought that they were here for a spring break. But after thinking about it carefully, Zhou Yu understood. Those kobolds are serious dark monsters. The fighting ability is fierce. And these people don't have Zhou Yu's astonishing frankness. Naturally, it is impossible to kill the enemy with massive output. Slow performance is normal. Lei Kai continued to talk. Many of the kobolds are in the teens, and there are 50 or 60 elite kobolds in the teens. We speculate that there are also kobold wizards in there. The level is very likely to reach level 20. Our strategy is to attract a group of kobolds and kill them gradually. If there are a large number of high-level kobolds or elite kobolds chasing them out, we will retreat. In the past few days, those beasts have learned to be smart. We go to attract them, and they are not fooled. Yesterday they actually adopted the siege strategy, which caused us heavy losses. Our strategy is still the same today. Attract a group of kobolds and kill them. Although the efficiency is slow, the victory is safe. With my brother joining, I think we should be able to kill more kobolds this time. Lei Kai said. Your flattery has no skill at all. Zhou Yu complained secretly. If Zhou Yu is just a normal human being who has just awakened, You will definitely think Lei Kai is crazy. Let him be a 0-level human being to be a 10-level kobold. However, both sides have already tacitly agreed that Zhou Yu has hidden strength, so it is different. In the world of Transcendent, not having a Transcendent job doesn't mean it's weak. It is also quite common to not acquire a Transcendent occupation, but have powerful Transcendent skills. Even mastering some Transcendent secrets and breaking the limitations of the physical body is not a strange thing. In a relatively long time ago, when there was no Transcendent sequence, many fighters, wizards, etc., they all use penance to break through the limit of the physical body. Obviously, they thought that Zhou Yu was the kind of person who had mastered powerful Transcendent skills and Transcendent secrets. That's a waste of time. After thinking for a while, Zhou Yu shook his head. 3 teams, a total of more than 20 people. Only 50 kobolds were killed in one day. 2 makeups per person. Not enough fillings. What's your opinion, bro? Lei Kai and the other 2 captains all looked over at Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu patted the armor on his body. What is this? This is the armor I gave to my brother. Lei Kai asked suspiciously. This is an invincible defense. Zhou Yu said solemnly. Lei Kai, the other 2 captains. Brother, although it is true to say so, those kobolds, they use blunt weapons, and their strength is extremely fierce. Even if it is heavy armor, it can't stop the attacks of many kobolds. Besides, those beasts are very smart. They love to hammer us over the head with a mace and a hammer, because they know that's our weak point. It's okay, I don't have any other advantages in this person, but my iron head. Zhou Yu said indifferently. Lei Kai, the other 2 captains, seeing that Zhou Yu's brain circuit was obviously not on the same channel as the few of them. Lei Kai's mouth twitched. Then what should I do according to my brother's opinion? I'll go in, make a big kill, set fire to it, and pull him out. Then I will attract the firepower, and you can output it with all your strength. Hiss. Several people gasped at the same time. Kobolds have a strong characteristic of guarding the territory. Zhou Yu dared to set fire, maybe he would pull out the entire kobold tribe. The few of them are already beginning to wonder if it was a wrong decision to pull Zhou Yu over. It's hard to persuade a dead ghost with good words. Zhou Yu said so, they don't mind having cannon fodder to pull monsters at all. Hee, then congratulate my brother on the victory, and pull a group of kobolds out. Lei Kai said with a dry laugh. That's fine. Zhou Yu nodded. Immediately, Zhou Yu got up and walked straight towards the kobold territory. Looking at Zhou Yu's back, Lei Kai looked at the 2 bastards under Zhou Yu. Your captain, has he always been this brave? I don't know if you are brave or not, but the captain's head is really iron. Suddenly, Lei Kai felt that his tooth hurt. He had clearly realized that it was a huge mistake to invite Zhou Yu to act together. Go all the way to Zhou Yu, a kobold tribe. These 5 days. Zhou Yu's life stability and physical defense have increased to more than 500 times the basic level. Such a terrifying defense and super life frankness. The attacks of those kobolds are worse than fishing for tickles. Zhou Yu has a certain strength. Naturally, some methods can be revealed. In this way, Zhou Yu can get a better Transcendent sequence and a more powerful Transcendent skill. I'm going to sneak a last hit and shock everyone. It's about now. After a while, the lights ahead gradually became clearer. Kobold villages, huts, haystacks, etc. are all clearly visible. At this time, several kobolds also found Zhou Yu. Ow Ow screamed, waving a mace, an axe and other weapons, and rushed over. Zhou Yu didn't dodge either. He carried it directly. Clang clang clang, bang bang bang. The intensive attacks fell on Zhou Yu like half of the raindrops. Most of them hit Zhou Yu's head. Sure enough, these guys just like to knock on human heads. It's a pity that they encountered a hard stubble today. Those attacks fell on the armor and passed to Zhou Yu's body. Zhou Yu stood still. These outputs are more scraping than scraping. Zhou Yu started with a sword, directly through the body of the kobold. Then Zhou Yu made another strike. 2 swords eliminated the kobold. The output ability is still almost, after all, I am only level 0. Although there is an additional increase of 16 times the damage. But the base damage is still a bit low. Compared to other people, it's pretty good to kill a kobold with 2 swords. Seeing this iron lump, he dared to fight back. The kobolds around were even happier. With 2 swords and 1 sword, Zhou began to stand up and lick these kobolds. Ah, ho ho, seeing that the dozen or so of them obviously couldn't stand up to this iron lump. The remaining kobolds roared immediately. Immediately there was a roar in the depths of the darkness in response. After a while, a large number of kobolds swarmed over. Seeing that Zhou actually killed so many of their kindred. The eyes of these kobolds were bloodshot. I can't wait to come up and tear up this tin can. Kill, kill. Seeing this large group of kobolds besieging them, Zhou ran to the left, picked up a few torches, and threw them on the haystack of the kobold's wooden house. This made the kobold even more angry. A large number of kobolds had blood-red eyes and bared their teeth, wanting to chew Zhou's bones to pieces. It feels like the firepower is almost attracted. Zhou then began to retreat. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.